Ignoring a woman can mean many things. You may be doing it to get her attention or simply wish to avoid her. If it's the former, you are probably trying to play hard to get. This is a classic dating technique that's often viewed as an effective way of wooing someone. It can prevent you from looking desperate or clingy, which are usually undesirable traits in a romantic partner. You can play hard to get in a number of ways, but it essentially involves you ignoring a woman and acting disinterested in her. This should be masking real interest. It's not playing hard to get if you're genuinely disinterested in her. If you are in fact ignoring a woman because you want to distance yourself from her, that's a whole other story. When we wish to cut off contact with someone, we'll often resort to ignoring or avoiding them. It's one way of ending a relationship, but it could also be due to negative feelings that stem from a bad argument or awkward situation. So, how do women react when they get ignored, and why do we do it? Here at Relentless Man, we'll be discussing the psychology behind ignoring a woman. If you like this video, feel free to hit subscribe and click the bell icon to get notified when we upload next. What does ignoring a woman mean? Ignoring a woman usually involves distancing yourself from her. This means preventing yourself from interacting with her. You can achieve this by blanking her in public, refusing to talk to her, leaving her messages on unread, and not picking up her calls. Ignoring a woman also means you won't initiate contact with her. This includes never texting, calling, or speaking to her of your own accord. You can ignore a woman to different degrees. For those who wish to completely ignore a woman, all forms of contact with her will be stopped. However, you can ignore a woman to a much lesser degree. For example, you can ignore her texts and calls from a certain duration of time before answering or initiating contact. This is temporarily ignoring a woman. You can also choose to only cut off certain types of contact, such as texts, but still retain contact in other ways. For example, you never text or answer her texts, but you will talk to her in person. This is a more selective method of ignoring a woman. Why ignore a woman? There are two main reasons for ignoring a woman. The first is because you're playing hard to get and trying to get her attention or affection. The second is because you dislike her or feel negatively towards her due to an altercation of some kind. We'll mainly be focusing on the first reason. So, why do people play hard to get? Well, the idea is that people always want what they can't have, so ignoring a woman can make her want you more. If you pretend to be disinterested, it can make them feel more motivated to get your attention. You'll seem more appealing because you're more of a challenge. The harder someone works towards something, the more valuable it feels. That's the psychology behind why people think ignoring a woman will make her like them. Does ignoring a woman work? So, does ignoring a woman actually work in getting her attention? This is quite a debatable topic. Some believe it's a useful tactic, while others believe it achieves nothing good. Ignoring a woman can work in some scenarios, but it can also fail dramatically in others. It just depends on your method and the situation you're in. When to ignore a woman? We'll first go into some situations where ignoring a woman will work. Casual flings. Ignoring a woman can come in handy when you're in a casual relationship. Casual flings usually involve some mind games, so ignoring a woman falls perfectly into that as a method of wooing. It's a short-term relationship and likely based solely on romantic interest, so you're unlikely to hurt any feelings. Maintaining contact. Ignoring a woman works best if you still maintain some form of contact with her. If you completely cut off contact, you risk her forgetting or ignoring you in return. The rule of thumb is to not ignore her in public or in person. If you see her and she acknowledges you, don't blank her. Such blatant ignoring can be hurtful and damage your relationship. Usually, we only snub people we don't like. If you ignore her in person, she might think you hate her and stop interacting with you as a result. Shared methods. Ignoring a woman is likely to work if she has previously played hard to get with you. This means she's on the same wavelength and would likely understand your methods. This minimizes the likelihood of her rejecting you as a result of being ignored. Ignoring her can make her realize how it feels to be on the other end and possibly appreciate you more as a result. Strong interest. If a woman has a very strong interest towards you, ignoring her is likely to work. She'll take the initiative to contact you more if you start to ignore her. If she really likes you, she'll want to talk to you a lot. She'll also be unlikely to hate or ignore you in response to being ignored. When you really like someone, it can be hard to get mad at them. Just keep in mind that you shouldn't ignore her too much, since her feelings could get hurt. If attention is what you want, you should stop ignoring her once you get it in case things start to go downhill. Politeness. Ignoring a woman is more likely to work if you're polite about it. Avoid being rude or mean when ignoring her. This refers to your attitude as well as your actions. For example, don't blatantly ignore her or pretend not to see her. Don't repeatedly ignore her calls and texts, especially if they seem important. If she wants to meet up or needs help with something, don't just ignore it. You can refuse politely and give a reason for it, but not answering at all can come off as rude. If you have an existing relationship, you should still cherish it. You can ignore her to a degree, but be careful about it. Waning interest. If your relationship with the woman is waning and you both feel bored, ignoring her and playing hard to get can help spice up the relationship. It can reignite her feelings for you and remind her of how much she likes you. This usually only works on casual relationships. Ignoring a woman can introduce some much-needed intrigue and mystery. When not to ignore a woman. We'll now go over some situations where ignoring a woman will not work. Mutual ghosting. Ignoring a woman can sometimes result in you getting ignored in return. No one likes being ignored, especially if they feel like it's undeserved. This can result in the woman feeling resentful about being ignored. You should always take care to not just ghost a woman when you ignore her. Playing hard to get is about leaving them wanting more. This means you should reduce contact rather than cut off contact. Emotional damage. Ignoring a woman can result in her feeling unwanted and devalued. This isn't a healthy outcome for anyone. In some cases, the woman might get desperate and try to chase after you, but in other cases, it just causes mental trauma. It can cause or worsen existing insecurities and make her feel bad about herself. Other options. Ignoring a woman can backfire if she already has other suitors. Ignoring her will just make her pay more attention to the other guys, which can damage your chances. It can also just lead to her flirting with other men if she feels you're not worth the effort. Make sure you have enough interest between you two before you start ignoring her. Lost interest. Ignoring a woman can simply result in her losing interest in you. If you stop contacting someone you're not familiar with, they could just forget about you and give up on the relationship. She may assume you're genuinely not interested in her and feel no need to further pursue anything with you. It's best to play hard to get with someone you're fairly familiar with. Ignoring a woman is a popular tactic for playing hard to get. It can promote interest and attract her attention. However, you should always make sure to control how much you ignore someone. It's better to ignore to a degree while still maintaining some semblance of contact with her. Otherwise, you risk hurting her feelings and damaging your relationship. Thanks for watching. We hope this video helped you. If you have any other questions, try checking out our other videos. You might just find what you're looking for.